Well, hey everybody. It's that time again, and unfortunately we were a little late with the holidays, so that's kind of put us off. But I wanted to make sure that we do get this going, and I did promise to go ahead and finish the sessions. Bear with me one second while I go ahead and share this to my page so that everyone sees that I'm on, because again, caring is sharing. So at this point, I'm going to share my own. Again, give me a second here, and then we'll get that done. And then we'll get this started. Are you excited? Me too. Okay, so give me a second here, because for some reason, it's running kind of slow. And I have to have this on. Aha, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share this, and then of course I'm going to turn it on so that I can see the comments as they come in, because we all know how that goes. Okay. All right, so give me one more second. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and share that real quick. And we'll be there in 1 second, guys. And you're awesome as always. You know how much I appreciate y'all.
Now I'm going to go ahead and share that real quick.
Okay, let me go ahead and turn that volume down, because this lags. Okay. So, well, first, hi. It's been a couple weeks, and I know, and I'm sorry, but I've had holidays, and I've had guests, and it's just been one of those couple weeks, and when that happens, you want to spend time with your family, and that's where I was at, and my son came in, and so I know it's been a couple weeks, but we got this, and we're going to get this going, okay? And I just want you to relax and do what we always do. Remember, I know life's stressful, and especially the holidays is even harder. So I just want you to breathe and remember, no one is in control of you. You control everything around you, especially your emotions. So don't give someone power to bring you down. Okay? Now, this is going to be the last session that we do on healing the cracks in our emotional foundation. And so I want you to really think about this when we go through it again. If you want the work study that I always have things that you can do and exercises and things that will help you to where you can really get a feeling of where you're at emotionally and what can you do to fix that. So that's what we're here for, and that's what I'm here for, to help you. So, hi, and let's go ahead and get that started today, okay? All right, so what we're going to start off with today is the consequences of not accepting our responsibility. Responsibility is a big thing. Remember that, guys. We have to own everything that happens in our lives, and if you don't own what happens in your life, then what ends up happening is you're kind of stuck in this stalemate. And think of it, life is like a chess game. And it is, because you strategically move all your parts across this board. Okay? And if you get yourself cornered, and that's real easy to do that even in our own lives, if you get yourself cornered, then what ends up happening is, there you go, you got a checkmate. So, let's go ahead and prevent that, and we're going to go over a couple things today. Remember, I do have exercises that you can do. I have some from even the past. Hey, Marta. I have some even from the past that we've experienced, and from the sessions and so forth. So if you want any exercises, we can kind of go over those and see what you need. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. All right, so I want you to think of it like this. Over time, failing to accept responsibility has severe consequences. First and foremost, it has a devastating effect on our mind and our heart. Oh my goodness, especially our heart, because that plays tricks with us in our mind makes us say and do things that we don't mean to do. Hey, Abo. So when you know you have failed to take responsibility for something that you should, I'll begin to bother you. It will. It'll begin to eat you up. It like festers. So pretty soon you'll feel so very small inside, and that's the last thing we want. So we have to take responsibility. Okay? That may sound like an exaggeration. I promise you it's not. Because have you ever laid in bed at night and your mind just won't shut down and you're thinking of all these things from the past? That is from not taking responsibility. We have to own everything that happens in our lives. I mean, even I've laid in bed, and it's not the things I haven't owned. It's just situations that happen in life that tend to bring you down. But I have to own it and not let it take control of me. I've laid in bed and just felt so consumed. Or I've laid in bed and I couldn't shut my mind down, and I'm thinking of things from the past, insignificant things on top of it. I mean, or things that could have gone a different way in my life, but because I wasn't thinking at that time and the different consequences of it, so then it puts you at a stalemate if you let that control you, and we're not doing that. So back to this. First and foremost, it has a devastating effect on your mind, as I said, and your heart. So we don't want anything to eat you alive. So let's find other ways that we can fix that. Sound great? Okay. All right. It may sound like an exaggeration, like I said, as we discussed a little while ago, but taking responsibility for your own actions makes life so much better. Remember, self-respect is the worth or value your place on your own life. Therefore, one of the consequences is failing to accept personal responsibility is that you eventually guarantee that you'll view your life as having little to no real value. And you know something? You are awesome. Your life is amazing. You have so much to give in this world. Don't limit yourself. Okay? All right. So, in our respect. So, that, of course, how do we spell it? It's R-E-S-P-E-C-T, right? Okay. We also have to remember it's not just a word in the way we spell it, it's the way we live our life. Okay? And when we see we fail to accept responsibility, we lose respect for ourselves. And it's kind of like, have you heard that one saying where, how can you love somebody if you don't love yourself? It's the same premise, I promise you. Okay? Now, so, and you have to realize accepting responsibility, it's a serious matter. Sometimes, especially when we're young, we don't always see the long-term effects of our behavior because we don't see it that far ahead. Hindsight, there you go. But make no mistake, accepting responsibility, both personal and indirect, is a major factor in receiving respect and admiration and respect from those around you. Excuse me. So accepting responsibility is not only the right thing to do, but it will pay in the long term. Promise you. So if you have a young one that is struggling, and here we go, that this is where our responsibility comes in. If there's a young person in your life and you see them not taking responsibility, it doesn't hurt to kind of guide them in that way, to help them learn that their actions today is going to reflect them down the road, because they don't see that far ahead. Remember that. Okay. So, is it nice and warm? Oh, look at that coffee, guys. Sorry, it's kind of chilly. All right, so I want you to know that accountability is normally viewed as being responsible. So we have to be accountable. We're grown-ups. So we have to be responsible. And giving an explanation of your actions to somebody for something is not easy. I mean, how do we really explain things to somebody when, have you ever gone to a job interview and they'll ask you, so tell me 10 good things about yourself. And all of a sudden your mind just goes, it's gone. You can't even think, oh my God, how are you supposed to tell anybody these 10 really great things about yourself when all of a sudden you can't even, I mean, you're lucky if you remember your own name. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, accountability and thinking about things and, you know, telling somebody, you know, what you're responsible for or what you failed to be responsible. It's the same thing, I promise you. It's not easy. Okay. So, but when you take 100% responsibility for holding yourself accountable, your performance will improve, your relationships will flourish, you'll market, even your market, personal market value. Think about it. It's like stocks. It soars. I mean, it becomes astronomical. People respect you for you. Does that make sense? Well, when you take accountability for things, you get even more acceptability, more respect. So, how is it that in all these areas of your life, you can see such dramatic improvements? Because when you hold yourself accountable for doing the things that you know you should do, you will distinguish yourself from the crowd. Have you ever, think about it like work, and you're on a job, and you do something, you know, it's something different, or you'd go above and beyond, or you do something a little extra, and you take pride in that work that you do. And what happens? Your boss notices that you've done this. Oh man, that's big. That is so big. Well, it's the same thing with you. When you do things and you take accountability, you notice. You can see it. I mean, just in little things and the way people perceive you or the way people are coming to you. I have, you know, a 14-year-old. I think most of you know that. Well, when she comes to me and gives me that trust and asks me for advice, wow, scary stuff, let me tell you, because there's never a right answer, not for a 14-year-old. But she trusts me enough to come to me. And that says a lot, because what 14-year-olds really trust us adults, right? Yeah. But anyways, we won't get into that whole thing, but same thing. But I'm convinced, and I'm telling you, I'm convinced, if you want to advance your life personally and professionally, you must hold yourself accountable for your actions, responsibilities, and goals. Remember, we've discussed this before. If you want something bad enough, you have to go for it. It's the same thing. It's the same premise, I promise you. So I want you to think about that. Why would it be someone else's job to make sure that you're doing the right thing that you know you should be doing? Hey, Yvonne, how are you? I hope you're having a good night. The mindset I adopt, and it's been a long time, and we won't say how long it's been well, 25 years. Okay, I gave it up. But I changed the way that I saw things, and I started owning my stuff. You know, we're not always going to be proud of everything we do. We're not perfect. We're human. And you have to give yourself that leeway. Then move forward and hold yourself accountable from here on out. Accept where you failed, and now it's time to do better. I mean, and that's just the way, if you look at it in a positive way, it's that glass half full mentality. It's not half empty. It's half full. So you got something to build on there. Okay? Now, there's 3 types of accountability. There are 3 areas in which you must hold yourself accountable. 1 is your actions and your choices. This would include such things as the way in which you communicate with others, how you spend your time, your behavior and manners, the consideration and respect you show for others, your eating habits, and exercising routine. There you go. Hey, those who are going into 2018 that are swear up and down they're going to lose that weight, accountability, guys. Definitely. Your attitude and thoughts, for example, as well. The way you respond to a challenge. I mean, do you like to be challenged? Do you like to push yourself above and beyond where you're at? There you go. Now, number 2 is your responsibilities. What does this mean? This would include types of things like returning calls to people or emails and texting in a timely manner. Being on time for business and personal appointments. Keeping your home, car, and workplace clean. That's a big thing. And it could be a big job depending on how big your family is. Spending less time or spending less than you earn. So don't live above your means. Own how much you make and live within that budget. Doing the things that you agree to do when you agree to do them. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. People will never forget if you let them down. Now, executing your job description to the best of your abilities, that's another thing. Writing down things on a to-do list. It's kind of like, you know those honey-do lists, the ones that when you go grocery shopping? Same thing. So you're making this list of things that you want to buy. Well, it's the same thing in life. Keep a list of your responsibilities. Now, the 3rd is your goals. This would include your fitness and health targets. What do you want? What do you expect from yourself? Don't worry about what anyone expects from you at this point. What do you expect from yourself? What's your financial goals? Your family objective, your career ambitions, your personal goals, your marital enhancements. I mean, do you want to get married one day? Would you like to see yourself settle down with a life partner? Any other goals that you've set for yourself? Make no mistake about it, you cannot achieve any worthwhile personal or professional goal if you don't hold yourself accountable. And you need to remember that. The reason is simple. Okay? Remember that. If it's your life, if you have to be held accountable at work, don't expect to be promoted or to experience any type of significant career advancement. If you have to be held accountable at home by your parents, roommates, or spouse, it will grow old fast and your relationships will deteriorate really quick. So that's something you really need to think about. Okay? So hold yourself accountable. This is your life. And for you to advance within your life, for you to have healthy, functional relationships with your family, your coworkers, or your significant other, you have to really hold yourself accountable and you have to set your goals. It's kind of like thinking, you ever hear that someone tell you, walk in my shoes for a day? Same thing. Maybe you need to walk in someone else's moccasins. Hold yourself accountable, guys. Take responsibility for your actions. When we make excuses or try to blame other people or external factors for the eventual outcome of something, not only do we fail at taking responsibility, but we're demonstrating a character trait which is very common in people who fail to exceed at anything. In shouldering responsibility ourselves, we are giving ourselves the power to shape the outcome ourselves and are therefore taking an action and not passive role in how outcome turns. Who all do we have in here today? My numbers are never real on there anymore. I found that to be a thing. So I hope everything's going great with you today, Yvonne. Do you have any questions, anything you want to ask? Anyone else? Please do. And while I'm waiting on that, I'll go ahead and keep going. Okay? All right, so realization. Here's a toughie. It's only when you accept that everything you are or ever will be is up to you. Imagine that. You're in charge of your destiny, guys. It's really what that means. You're able to get rid of negativity, but you have to stop making excuses because that will prevent you from succeeding. Oh, you're welcome, Yvonne. I love doing this, and you know that. I'm just sorry that the holidays kind of got in the way of me doing my regular Sundays, but this is okay. It's better late than never, right? Okay, so I want you to go ahead and get out of like these clauses that you got yourself set into. One of our biggest problems is that we don't like to fail, and more importantly, we don't like to be seen to fail. So we have this. Exactly. So we have this thing set up for ourselves where we kind of put up these roadblocks for ourselves, and then we try to hide it because we don't want people to see. So, but people see, whether you want them to or not, or you don't think they're seeing what's going on, they really do. People give them more credit. They're pretty observant. So take responsibility of your actions and you'll succeed. And people won't look at you negatively. And that's a big thing, and it prevents you from getting angry or being fearful or developing resentment or hostility or self-doubt. Does all this sound familiar? Because we've gone over a lot of this before. So what I want you to do, and here's something that you should do, and this kind of will be a little exercise. Let's replace the negativity. If you find yourself saying, I can't do something, or any negative verbiage you're using, or even your actions, replace it with something positive. Have you ever been around somebody who always appears to be down on their luck? You'll notice that their whole personality seems to be riddled with negative comments and that they have nothing positive to say. It's quite true that you can't really hold both the positive and negative feeling at the same time. And you just can't. So when you're down, you bring those around you down. So by replacing the negative with a positive, it stops you from feeling unhappy as you have come to accept at that moment. And that's the glass half full routine. And that is, let's not look at it as glass half empty. Let's not look at the negative part of it. Let's find there's always a positive to everything. Pull that positive out of it and then live with that positive. Get rid of that negative. And this way, it'll help you even your outlook will change. I promise you it will. I need a drink, guys. See? Can you read this? This is how I live my life. I'm joking. Anyway, that's how I feel in the morning, though. I promise you. Now, again, accepting responsibility. Once you accept total responsibility for everything that happens in your life, you will soon discover that it also enables you to find solutions to these life difficulties far more quickly than what they were before. It is huge. Look. See? Put it up to my face. Look how big that cup is. It's wonderful. Oh. I know, and it's filled with coffee too. I won't sleep tonight. That's going to be bad, but that's okay. Now, let's go ahead and continue on with a few little other extra things I kind of wanted to go over with that. You already know taking responsibility. I'm not going to hammer that anymore. I'm going to give you some tips for some perseverance. Many of us become trapped in a state of euphoria, often because we're too often afraid to try anything new in case people question us or decide to like mock us, because it's fear, afraid of things new. As adults, people tend to pigeonhole others, and they do. And that was the only word I can come up with for that, because it's true. They think that they know who they are, and by categorizing them, they make an evaluation or judgment by which to put them in a group, and it formulates their opinions of these people. So, and I think we're all guilty of that. Have you ever met somebody, and just by the way they're dressed, by the way they appear, you kind of just labeled them, thought to yourself, ew, or that's trouble, or oh, I bet you that person does drugs, or oh, that person just looks really mean, or they're rough around the edges. I mean, I'm covered in tattoos, guys. Can you imagine what someone thinks when they see me when I'm not covered like this? I mean, are they thinking that I'm like someone who just got out of jail? Because that's what a lot of people think when they associate tattoos. I mean, never know. But these are behaviors that we do. And, well, hi, hon. But this is what we do. And we put these people in a box and we put a label on them. We need to stop doing that. I'm just as guilty. I've done it. And it's just something we need to stop doing. So what you can do is next time you see somebody, instead of putting a label on them because you don't know them, just don't. That's a habit you can get out of. Take responsibility for the fact that you don't know this person. Get to know them. Maybe say hi. You never know. That could be your next best friend. But so when someone decides to make a radical step towards changing their career, for example, oh my goodness, this could often be met by critical comments about a goal and aspiration because of maybe that outward appearance. So that doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it. And that goes for you. Don't let things get you down. Take responsibility for that. Become healthy. Become an expert of yourself. Adopt a healthy lifestyle. If you haven't done so already, good nutrition and regular exercise will increase your energy and stamina, which are both required for perseverance. So go into 2018. We're almost there. Go in there, start eating better. Go exercise. Even if you don't do a lot, maybe you physically can't. Some people can't, and they can't physically. But you can do something. Maybe walk. Something that will help you just get that mental exercise, because what do we do when we walk? We think a lot. So we can think of positive ways to move forward in our lives. It's a lot to think about, but you can do it. So also finish what you start, guys. If you start something, don't stop. Just finish it. And it doesn't matter what it is, how small it is. Just do it. Put things aside and get done what you started. Don't put off today because you think you can do it tomorrow. Just get it done. And remember when I said about be an expert? Know yourself. Know your subject matter. Don't walk into something thinking you know something if you don't. If you don't, then ask an expert. They'll be happy to tell you. It's usually the best way to go. And then here you are. You have just learned something new. How neat is that, right? Now, here's another thing too. And this is owning, very much so. Become assertive. Get some training if you need to. There's all different types of things available out there. If you want to know, well, maybe let's go back to the eating part. You're not eating right. Well, then go talk to someone who can give you some advice on how to eat. All right, so then maybe eating that healthy is not in your budget. Find out what type of budget you have and what you can do to get yourself there. And that's another thing to think about. See, exactly. If it's something as simple as, there you go, owning it. Make your bed in the morning. That works. Definitely. And you'll find that doing things, it will help you and it calms you. It helps you become more in control of your environment around you because you've done something to improve it. It can emphasize a calm in you. It can even help you clear your mind and think about the next step. What else would you like to do tomorrow? So I got up and I made this bed today. There you go. Tomorrow, how about I make the bed and I do this? Add something to it. Don't limit yourself. Okay? Because the only person stopping you from succeeding in life is yourself. If you're putting limits on yourself. Okay? Now here's some points to remember, guys. All right? If you have often felt the lack of assertiveness that has often let you down, there are some important things you should always remind yourself of. These include accepting that you have the right to say yes or no, and that it's not always necessary to justify your responses. You have the right to judge your own behavior, thoughts and emotions, and take responsibility for them. You have the right to change your mind, to make a mistake and say, I don't know. Even if you are pressed for a decision one way or another, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Don't just make a decision or answer a question if you don't know. You also have the right to say, I don't understand, or even, I don't care. I mean, you have that right. Ultimately, the only judgment that matters is how you judge your own actions and behaviors and not let others dictate how you should respond or behave. In other words, it's about imposing your own self-will to do or say what's right for you and not allowing others' behaviors to impose on your own values. And that's a big thing. So be comfortable in your own skin. The word actions you have taken, take them. Do what's going to work for you. But at the end of the day, take responsibility for those actions. Because if you don't, no one's going to do that for you. Remember, you're the only one that can do that for you. So you got so many different options out there. You got to let your feelings out. I mean, you ever feel like you're bottled up sometimes? Everything just seems so bottled and you just trapped inside you and you just want to escape and just run. You know, I think we've all felt that way. And it's okay. But if you start discussing things and letting things out of your head, let them come out of your mouth, take it off your heart, you'll feel so much lighter. And then at that point, you've taken responsibility for what's building up inside you, which is creating resentment, anger, fear, all those emotions that they're unnecessary if we can avoid them. Seriously. So, for people who keep their negative feelings buried inside and don't share them with a soul, It's a recipe for disaster, and it will often lead to an eruption of emotions that can also trigger out violent responses. What makes it worse is that it's often a person not associated with you in any way who can bear the brunt of this outrage or your vent of anger. And that's not fair to them. So, now, how do we do this? So, that's a great question. What do we do to release? How do we release it? Well, people have many various techniques for releasing their emotions. And what works for some, it's not going to work for everybody. So you have to find out what's going to work for you. How do you get rid of your inner frustrations if you're aware that they are in danger of getting out of control? So you have to, let's get in tune with yourself. Find out what are your triggers. What will help you release that anger without blowing up on somebody. We don't want some unexpected fool to be sitting there like that deer in the headlight, like, oh my God, what just happened here? And then look at you like, wow, she's crazy. Okay. Or have someone think, God, I dodged a bullet there. Yeah, imagine that one, right? So, what I'm going to suggest is go ahead and write down your feelings. Draw pictures if you have to. Engage some other kinds of creative activity to get your feelings out of the way. Something, anything. Keep a journal. My goodness. You have a best friend? Get on the phone. Say, hi, I need to speak to you. That usually helps. Others will engage you. They will listen to you. They will help you get your frustrations out. Okay, if you have no one to speak to, any form of physical, energetic activity, any exercise is often very good for releasing frustration too. So that's a thought for those that don't have anyone to speak with on a regular basis. I mean, and you're to that point, you've got to release it. So let's go ahead and think about reprogramming yourself. There are many other techniques that you could do for expressing your feelings. Excuse me. You have to find out what they are and then start utilizing them. If you need to, go see a therapist. It's okay, guys. Sometimes we need someone to talk to. And here we go. There's me. I do have single sessions. I follow HIPAA rules. That means what we discuss is between us. It never leaves. It never goes anywhere. Okay? So I have these little folders in my head that I store for you. Okay? Plan difficult decisions carefully. I want you to do that because decision-making process, it's hard for some people, and it really is. It's tricky on what you should do, what you're facing, and oh my goodness, it's just wow. Just wow, right? Not everyone handles decision-making really well. They rather have other people do that for them because they can't always guarantee that they're going to make the right decisions. Trust yourself to do that. That's going to be the biggest key. Trust yourself. Think about it. Write it down. Write out different options. This will help. If you write out different options, you'll be in good shape. I promise you. And here's some good stuff. And here's where we really need to think when we're taking ownership and so forth. Okay? Consider your decisions in terms of what you're saying, how you're acting, what you do daily, how it affects other people. Ultimately, you may find at some point you have to take a decision that is in your best interest, but not one that's necessarily going to welcome other people that are closest to you. So sometimes you have to step outside your own box and look, because everything you do is not going to make everyone around you happy. But sometimes there's decisions that just have to be made, and you stick to them. but yet consider other people at the same point and kind of weigh your options. If what you're saying and what you're doing is going to really affect someone else, you may want to think about that. Okay? Seek out options for others. It's useful to gain a sense of what others might do in the face with similar situations that you're in. I mean, that's where going to other people, what would you do? But don't take what they're saying to heart. Just ask, what would you do in this situation? Because this is what I'm faced with. I see people all the time asking questions, and they get really great answers. Some, I would kind of avoid. But, some people can give really good, but keep in mind, what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. So you need to think about that as well. Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But trial and error. And how else are you going to know, right? Okay. And it's okay to change your mind, too. It's okay to change your mind. If circumstances do not allow you to do certain things, it's okay. You don't have to worry about other people's viewpoints at that point. Okay, if it's not going to work for you, it's not going to work for you. Be gentle with yourself and accept that nobody will make the right decision all of the time. If you do make a decision which you later come to regret, and that decision is irreversible, you've just made a mistake. Learn from that mistake and then move on. Okay? Simple. It's like what we would tell our kids. This is how they learn. We can't always hold their hand through everything. Sometimes they have to learn on their own. It's the same thing with adults. No different. Okay? So it's the same, you don't have to take peer pressure from adults around you. You just don't have to, because you're old enough to know better than that. So don't worry about that. Take your control back. You are in control of your life. You are an adult. Don't let someone pressure you into doing anything that you wouldn't want to do. Because a true friend, guess what? They're not going to expect you to do things that are not in your best interest. You have to value yourself well enough to know that you deserve better than that. And you're not going to put yourself in that position. Take control of your life. Take control of your decisions. Take responsibility. That's what all of this is coming down to. Okay, so we have been going now for 40 minutes. Oh my goodness, it's been that long. And I'm drinking my coffee still, so yeah. Anything. What have you had going on with you? Have you had any struggles? It's time. I'd like to hear from you. What's been going on with you? What would you like to discuss? What do you feel has been hard on you? Is there something that you feel that you could be doing better, that you could have done better? Ask. It's really, really simple. Just ask. But don't just give me partials of what you're asking. Give me actual scenarios, okay? Because I can only get so much from a few sentences, okay? And I'll be happy to help you through it, okay? So I already know that we're a week right after Christmas. Only a couple, yesterday was Christmas. Oh my goodness, okay. So a lot of people are still traveling to get home. And we're not going to have a lot of people on today, but you will come on and you will watch later, as you always do. If you have any questions and you don't want to share them on this thread, it's okay. Go up above in the group and click the message for sending a PM in Healing Hands, and you can ask. And I may decide that that's such a great question. I may do a session over it. So don't be afraid, because what you're struggling with, someone else may be too. Okay? So there's never a dumb question, and I want you to know that. All right, so I want you to take stock in your life. Okay, and this is going to be your exercise until we meet again. Take stock. Make a list of all the negative things that you have going on, negative thoughts you've had roaming through your mind. And it's kind of like that column thing. And then you have the positive over here. I want you to write the negative attribute of what is going on, meaning what is most negative, and then work down to least. So the smallest number, 1, will be your most negative, going down, 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 down into your least negative. On this side, I want you to put, what could you have done for that negative action? How could you change that? And then what I want you to do is, for a week, I want you to start using those. Use that negative response that you would do, that you'd normally do, and use the positive instead. You are going to see how much in 1 week this is going to change your life. And this is what I want you to do for me. It's the least you can do. Shoot me a message on Healing Hands and say, Dawn, I did that. It worked. And then tell me about it. I'd love to hear. Attribute it. Let me know. Because guys, I can get on here every day of the week and I can do these sessions. But unless I know they're helping you, I don't know if this is worthwhile. So, and I know I get lots of attributes, and I do, and ratings and so forth, which I very much appreciate. And remember, hearing is sharing. So share these. Share my videos on your page. Tell people. Maybe they need help. Someone else. Well, how do you think they're going to learn about it? So caring is sharing. Okay, so share, share, share. Right now. Share. And then tell me you shared, please. And thank you. And, you know, I got something I want to share. Okay? We're all neatly aware of what's going on in our lives. Next time someone asks you how you're doing, okay, think about this. Instead of your brain going straight to busy, so busy, oh my God, I answer work emails on the toilet yesterday, and my dinner was 2 boiled eggs that I kept in a Ziploc bag in my wallet or in my desk drawer or purse, or whoever the person may be. Okay? Instead of going into all that, try to take a second and think about the week's positiveness. I've been to the gym 4 times and finally finished a big project. Wow, do you see the difference in that? The negative and positive? So what I wanted to share was, someone asked me a question. I was having a down day, and I'm not a negative Nancy, I promise you. But I even find myself in that same cycle sometimes where I'm just kind of down. And instead of being positive about a question I was asked, it wasn't say really negative, but it wasn't the most positive thing I've ever stated either. So at that moment, I stopped myself and I backed up mentally, and then I edited myself, and then I put something out there totally off the wall that was different, something very positive. That's okay to do. Sometimes you can backtrack yourself. If you find yourself saying something negative, stop right there. Just stop it. Edit in your mind. What could I say which is more positive? Have you ever noticed, here's a good thing. Somebody will say something really nice, like give you a compliment or something, and then all of a sudden you get this knee-jerk reaction to that compliment, and it doesn't feel positive inside because you're not used to that maybe. But instead of saying, thank you, I appreciate that, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, you need glasses, or hush up, whatever. I mean, guilty. So, yeah, I think we all are from time to time. But stop yourself. Edit what's going on inside your head and give yourself some credit. Definitely give yourself some credit, okay? And you can take it. And if you can dish it out to somebody and compliment them, you can take what they're giving to you, okay? Negative or positive. So if you don't want negative back, don't give negative. And if someone compliments you, take it, because you take it for what it is. It's a beautiful gesture of somebody saying, hey, I appreciate this about you, or you look very nice today, or I like that shade of lipstick. Okay, well, I'm not going to tell a guy that because, well, yeah. But and I'm not going to go up to somebody who doesn't wear any of that stuff, but it's depending on who the person is you're speaking with. Okay? Just don't doubt yourself. Just don't do it, and just go with it and relax. Accept credit where credit is due. Why not pay attention and pay it forward by throwing someone a compliment towards your fellow neighbor, friend, sister, brother? Okay? If you see something you like or notice, someone has been working hard, just state it simply and out loud. I like what you're doing with your hair these days. You and so-and-so have really nice things going on. I'm so happy for you. That was without a doubt the most impressive thing I have seen in a long time. There you go. Well, guess what? And if someone gives you that same compliment, thank them. Because it's a nice thing to do. Think about it. Someone took the time to say, you look really nice today. Give them respect and tell them thank you. Okay? And then return the gesture. Tell them something nice. Make it a habit. That's another exercise you can do. Once a day, I don't care who it is. If it's a total stranger, do it. Who cares? Say you're standing in a line and someone's wearing shoes that you like. Tell them, I really like your shoes. Don't be afraid to tell other people and attribute things. This helps you remove negativity from your life. It helps you own your stuff. Remember that story I said last week about you take your dog for a walk and the dog goes poo on the grass. Well, the right thing to do is pick that poo up with a little plastic bag, right? You're not going to stick that poo in your pocket and take it home and put it on the shelf in your pantry. You're just not going to do it because make everything stink, right? You're going to toss it. That's the same with negativity. Toss it. Get rid of it. Don't keep it. You can live a happier, healthier, positive life. But you first got to change, adapt. Again, now remember, I have so many different worksheets I can do, assignments you can go over, things that'll help you. Ask me for them. I'll send them to you. I can send them right in the PM, or I can email them to you, whichever you prefer. Okay? Because they're in PDF form. So you just hit me up and let me know. So I am going to close for the day. And I haven't decided what topic I'm going to do because we've been working on this one for quite some time. It's been a long process with healing the cracks in our emotional foundation because there's a lot of cracks we have. And that's a lot of feeling. And I think we've done that. We've accomplished everything we set out to do. Now what I need you to do is go ahead and start utilizing that. Start finding ways that you can remove the negativity, ways that you can become healthier, positive, looking at your glass as half full. It's not half empty, guys. Even if you drink it, you're getting fully quenched. Are you not? Quench your life. It's the same thing. If you don't nourish your life and things going on around you, it's going to die. The same as with your body. So let's be healthy. I've given you tools to work with. I'll give you some more tools which will help. And we can get this done together. So what I want you to do is go ahead and utilize that, and we can go ahead and take it from there, okay? Now, I do want to go over one thing I have here, and that is probably, you know something, the next session, we're going to be working on building and repairing trust. The keys to sustaining a healthy relationship. How about we do that? I did get a message a little while ago, and it was saying that she had a lot of problems maintaining a healthy relationship. Well, a lot of that has to do with what we just went over today. So we'll kind of go over that next week. How does that sound? Okay? I look forward to seeing you guys. Have a really nice week, and I know we missed it. Merry Christmas, and have a Happy New Year. Okay? And I will see you in 2018. Bye for now.